Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. I'm so glad we have Facebook today. Yesterday I was, whoa, what happened to Facebook? It was really kind of wonky. I don't know if you guys were affected by it at all if you check Facebook regularly, but Facebook was out for part of the day, and then in the evening it was not playing nicely. So I just kind of gave up. And I was hoping today would be a better day, and it looks like so far it is. So, hello, hello. I'm so glad that some of you are here joining me this morning. I am really excited because my son is coming on Saturday. He's coming to spend a week with us. We he had said he was going to come, but we thought maybe it was kind of a impossibility because he only wanted to come for the long weekend. He's up in Canada, and it's Thanksgiving up in Canada this weekend. It's on the Mondays, the official day for Thanksgiving in Canada. And so we thought, "Oh, that's just not enough time to drive down and back. It's about an 8.5 hour drive. So it's a long drive. So we were just like not even counting on it. And last weekend he said that he's going to work remotely for the week. So he's going to come on Saturday and leave on Saturday. So I'm very, very excited about that. So that kind of, my grocery bill just doubled. Not because he eats that much more, but because, Thanksgiving, there's like extra things to buy for that kind of meal. And so now I'm having to cook a Thanksgiving meal in the US when it's not really quite Thanksgiving here yet, right? And it's harder to source things that you would normally have Thanksgiving a little earlier. So, but I think I'm going to find everything that I need. And my Instacart order is coming today. And we'll see if I might have to do a quick run to pick up anything that doesn't get picked up. But I'm excited. It's going to be a great week. And I would love to say he would be able to do a Casing Tuesday with me next week, but he's actually working. He's on a work term, and he'll be working on Tuesday his normal job, not just helping his mom with a live. So I don't think he'll be able to do a live with this visit, but yeah. But I'm very happy that he's coming regardless. All right, guys, I see a few more of you are on here. So I'm going to delve into Casing Tuesday. And that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And you can copy it exactly, but you can also just tweak some things. And I always try and tweak some things because I'm never quite happy with things exactly, and I want to add my own spin to it too. And we have a Facebook group for that, and you are welcome to join the group if you're not already a member. Look for the link in the description down below. And when you join, you can watch what we're doing. We have different threads set up for the different cards. And then you can post your card and we can comment on it. And it's just a fun way to group all of the same cards under one thread and see what stamp set people use or what bundle. And it's kind of a fun little exercise. And this exercise is good for beginners, and it's good for people who've been stamping for a long time, like myself. For a beginner, it's a good starting point, and for an advanced person, it gets you out of your comfort zone, your rut. The same types of cards you always make. We have different people choosing cards, so invariably there'll be a card that is not my comfort zone, and I will have to try and make it work. So that is the fun of the challenge, and I hope you will join us. All right, I am going to switch my camera over to my other camera, and I'll talk about, oh, you know what? You know what I didn't do? I didn't add, let me do this real quick. I didn't show you what the cards were today. Okay, let's do this. This is going to be too big. And let me do the sketch too. Usually I get this ready ahead of time. Okay, let's see if I can make this a little smaller so it fits on the page a little better. Here we go. Here is today's card, and it's using some tags, and I love the way that looks, the way those tags look on there. I actually even added a third tag to mine. And so here is the sketch. Whoop, here is the sketch. And you don't have to use tags. You can use rectangles or another long skinny shape if you want to kind of keep the look of that, the feel of that tag. And you know, I got rid of the little tiny layer, the 1.5 inch by 1/2 inch layer, and I just added an extra tag. So you can be a little creative. My card still looks like the original, but I've taken a little bit of creative license with it. So those sketches can also be found on our Casing Tuesday Facebook group and also on my blog posts. So click on either of those links down below and you can see the full sketch and have a look at it and work from it. We also give you the page number out of the catalog. So if you would prefer to open up your catalog and see the picture right there, you can do that as well. Okay, now we're going to switch over to the other camera. All right, so here is my card. You know what? I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I think I have this up a little too high. Let's bring this in to my field of vision a little bit. We're also going to do a lot of die cutting today, so maybe that wasn't such a great idea to bring it down low, but we'll see. So here's my card, and look at the pretty pine cone. I've got it popped up on some dimensionals. I mentioned in my blog post today that I love pine cones. It reminds me of my dad because he used to spray paint them gold and silver. Now you can buy them in bags of gold and silver at the craft store, but back in the day you had to do your own, and they just really look so pretty and festive. So pine cones have a special memory for me. Also, the area I grew up in was full of coniferous trees. We didn't have as many deciduous trees. We had a lot of pine trees, and so that just really reminds me a lot of my hometown. So so this is the card, 3 tags. I put the greeting on this tag. Isn't that pretty? Have a holly jolly Christmas. It looks really nice. I embossed that on there. So I'll show you how I made this. Okay, so the first bundle I use is the Christmas season bundle. It's a big bundle that has outline images for these foliage, the pine cones, the leaves, the berries, all of that. They cut those out, plus labels. So just a really useful bundle. And then I use the Christmas to Remember stamp set for that beautiful greeting. Have a jolly, holly jolly Christmas. And then I use the tailor-made tags, and I would pick up this set just to make your Christmas tags because they are really a nice tag set. They've got that nice little stitching on the outside. So you can use them for cards and you can use them for your Christmas gifts. All right, let me pull out the ones that I need and keep them up top. We are going to make this card. So first we're going to need to do some stamping. So I've got a scrap piece of soft succulent here, and I'm going to grab my evening evergreen. And this is neat because there's 2 leaves on one stamp, but they cut out individually. So you can, stamp them together on a card if you want to do that. And then you can, let me see, I might have done better if I had used another sheet of the soft succulent, but I kind of wanted to fit a few more leaves on this piece before I threw it out. You're going to need about 3 leaves, so go ahead and stamp. Oh, how am I going to fit this on here? I might just get 1 more on here. All right, I'm going to do this. It's not perfect, but we'll see if that die will cut that out. So those are the leaves. Get yourself a bigger piece of soft succulent. Oh, and I have a whole bunch left over from cards that I was making, so I have no excuse not to use more product. All right, let's stamp the pine cone. I'm using 2 colors, and if you use a like either a crumb cake, or I have Sahara sand cardstock here. If you use that as your background, it adds just another layer of depth to your pine cone. So I like to do the detail on this pine cone first. I don't know why, but it makes it just easier for me to do it this way. I tried it both ways. So this is the detail stamp, and this is the bigger of the two pine cones. So I'm just going to stamp that down here. And then we'll come in with the other pine cone. This is the bold part of the pine cone. And this will be crumb cake ink. And with this one, I tried to match up the little lines at the bottom. That is going to be where the dark part is going to be to the bottom of each of those leaves. So I'm just going to twist this a little bit until I think it lines up. It might take you a time or two before you get an alignment that you like. Even if you're off a little bit, it will still be okay. But there is a pine cone. And then we need some holly leaves. And I'm also going to stamp these ones on Sahara sand. Not holly leaves, holly berries. I love that little pop of red. So I'm going to use real red. And we'll just stamp them up there. And I think I'm just taking a quick glance over my card. I think that is all the die cut stamping that we need to do. So let's bring in the die cut machine. Stamp and cut and emboss machine. My mom was watching my video on Friday. I think it was Friday when I was doing die cutting. And she said, "Did you break your machine when you made that big kerclunk noise?" And I said, "No, Mom, everything is fine. What I did was I stuck these like on the end of my sheen, and when I put it down on the ground, these went flying off. So my machine is absolutely fine. It's actually a pretty sturdy thing. It's just I didn't have these dies or the platform down like it should be. Okay, so let's just talk quickly about the sandwich in case you're not familiar with it. This is the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. It's got a little handle that I crank over here off to the side that you can't see right now. And we're going to use the base platform. It is labeled with a number 1. We're using the thin die adapter, number 2. And we need 2 cutting plates. One goes on the bottom and the other goes on the top. So let's start off with these holly leaves. And we'll use that die. And you're just going to kind of do your best to kind of just keep this positioned. Then put your top plate on top, and don't do what I did, just put it straight on top. I put it on top like this and it lifted it up and lifted it off. So don't do that. Do that, and then you're going to put your thing straight down. Okay, I shifted it again. I could use some post-it note or some tape. Yes, I could. But that would mean I'd have to go get the post-it notes. All right. All right. I'm too lazy to do that. Let's see how good I did. If not, I think I have some extra leaves. Oh, wow, I did excellent. Wow, I think I get a gold star, but I think my leaves right here are going to be a little bit cut off and funky. I've got some extra holly leaves, so I'm going to use those for that third leaf, and I'm just going to throw these out because this one's going to be cut off and this one's going to be a little funky. So this one is just going to get discarded, but you will need a third leaf for your project if you want to make yours exactly like mine. And then I'm going to cut the pine cone, and the pine cone's over here. I know sometimes you probably think, why are you showing me all this? I know how to die cut it. Well, guess what? Some people on here are new to stamping. So I want to show what it's like to die cut stuff, because sometimes you just don't want to see that die cut is already just done for you. You want to see the whole process from start to finish so you understand the process. Okay, so there's the little pine cone. And then here are the holly berries. And my mom asked another question because she doesn't stamp. And so she was like, it's amazing how that little metal piece cuts things out. So there's a little, I don't know if it's like, it's not super sharp. I can stick my finger on here and not get cut. But when it goes through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, it squishes down and it does actually cut, but it won't cut me by touching it. So I like that. You know, I'm sure if you pressed really hard, you could probably break through your skin. But if you're just like handling it just gently, it's not going to cut you. So that's kind of cool that we can have a product like that that cuts, but it doesn't injure you most of the time. All right, I'm gonna have this go through the opposite direction. Let's see how well I did. I feel like I shifted a little bit there, going through backwards. Okay. All right, not too bad. So those are the holly berries, and look, the nice thing about these berries is they're all on one strip, so you can just plop them down and they're already scattered in a pleasing manner, so you don't have to worry. They're just good to go. All right, we need to cut some tags too, so I'm going to pop this over here. We'll do a green and a red tag at one time, and then we'll do a second one of the largest ones to get that white tag. So we're going to use the largest one here. I'm using Evening Evergreen, and then the second largest, sorry, the third largest or the second smallest one in a real red. And actually, it would have been better if I had, this would be a better way to go through the die cutting machine, because then it's not, that straight edge isn't going through first. So I'm going to tilt this like this and do this. So they're not going to go through right at the same time. Hopefully that will make it less resistant through the machine. Going right through, cutting those tags. Look how beautiful these are. They're so pretty, and look at the little stitching on there. It's nice, so nice. We're really advancing with the way we have dies now. So much nicer. We don't just cut out shapes, we cut out shapes with stitched edging, we cut out shapes with embossing. So it's really nice. Oh, and we need to do one more. This one's in basic white, and we'll use the largest tag. Again, and then we'll put this on top and we'll run it through the opposite direction. I still need to use my right hand, not my left hand. All right. Okay, there is the white tag. All right, I think I have done all the die cutting I need to do. So we can put this machine away. Try not to drop it this time so it doesn't make that big noise and scare everyone. And let me bring my camera back in a little tighter so that we're not so super far away. All right, I think we should emboss this tag next. This is the real red tag, and I'm going to use the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas stamp. And where did my Versamark go? Here we go. So here is Versamark. This is a clear, I don't know if you call it a pigment ink, but it's sticky, and it stays on top of the cardstock instead of sinking down in. It is not water-based, so that's what's going to attract the little particles of the embossing powder, and then we're going to melt them. So just ink up the stamp really well. Tap, 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 tap. And then you're just going to fit it on here as best you can. And I'm just I'm not pressing down super hard because I don't want to distort the lines, but I'm pressing down and giving it a little bit of a wiggle without shifting it from the paper. And then lift up. And then we're going to use this embossing powder. This one actually now comes in a selection called Basics, and white embossing powder is one of the colors or neutral colors that are in that pack. So we'll just hold on to here. I'm using like a little baby spoon from when Nicholas was a baby and he no longer needs, and it's just perfect for sprinkling the embossing powder. And I always dump my embossing powder in these little containers because it makes it easier. Otherwise they are in a little round container like this, and you can use a piece of paper underneath to catch the embossing powder. You sprinkle it over top, catch the embossing powder, and then funnel it back into the container. I find this a little easier, and since I do embossing regularly, it just kind of makes sense. Give it a little flick. If there's a stray fleck, you need to get it now because later on they are going to melt into your tag and you won't be able to get them off. All right, so now we just need the heat tool. I'm gonna grab it, bring it over here. Here it is. And we'll use it on the highest setting. Be careful not to burn your fingers. You can use tweezers or something to hold your tag if you want to. Like I have locking tweezers, so this will give you a little bit more distance if you want. Or if you have a surface that you can melt on, like a piece of wood or something like that. I have a surface that I can't heat emboss on directly on the counter, so I'm just doing it up in the air. Just wait till it changes color, and it turns into kind of a bright white once it's done. Put that away. All right, so that's the little top tag. So the easiest way to get these tags oriented and get this linen thread on here so it's on the card, we need about a 9-inch length. I think I measured it yesterday. Grab my ruler. Let's cut about a 9-inch length. This is kind of curved out. Let's straighten it out a bit. It's about 9 inches that you need for your bow. And then I'm just going to line all of these three up and stick the linen thread through there. Okay, and then come through here on the other side. We'll put a knot at the top. And if you want to, linen thread holds pretty well, but if you want to just pin down that knot for a moment while you tie a bow. And then release the locking tweezers and give it just one more little tug. All right, so now the tags are attached at the top, but you can still spread them apart like this. So you can add things to them and stuff, but now at least they're pinned because it's hard to do it like after the fact. So just get those kind of pinned in the area you want. So then we're gonna need a card base, and this is Crumb Cake, 11 by 4 1/4, scored in half at the 5.5 inch mark. And as I'm doing this, if you have any questions or if I'm missing anything that you think you need to know, just let me know and I'll answer it afterwards. This is a piece of painted Christmas paper. Beautiful patterns in here. They match the suite that I'm using with the Christmas to Remember and the, what what is the other one? Christmas season bundle. It matches this entire suite, so you'll see a lot of foliage and pine cones. It's just a really great paper. It's in 12 by 12, and I'm using this pattern here. It's kind of a sedate pattern. If you want to go bright, look at the back. It's really bright and very cheery, but I wanted a more sedate look, so I'm using the neutral side. And this piece measures 3.5 by 5.5. And I'll just glue this to the front, and I'm going to do about a quarter of an inch from this side, because that's how the original sketch looked. I'm not going to center this, but you can if you don't like the look of things not being centered. Go ahead and center it. Okay, I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of Tombow to here, and let's add this to the front. And I notice I don't have my trimmer right here, but if you have a little bit of an overhang, you can go and cut that off afterwards. It's not a big overhang, but got a little tiny bit. Sometimes it's just the slight difference in how you cut one piece over the other. So I've got just a wee bit overhang there. All right, so now I'm just gonna spread these out for now. I want this one a little bit like this, and this one a little bit like this. This one's gonna come down here. I'm not gonna glue everything yet. I'm gonna bring in my pieces. I need one more holly leaf. Oh shoot, you know what I forgot to do on this one? I forgot to add this little piece. So this little piece is, okay, I'm gonna redo it. So don't forget to do this. Shoot. This is the little, what do they call them? Page protector. I don't know what we used to call them. They're a reinforcer. That's what they're called, reinforcer. And they're from that same die set right here. And I forgot to cut some extra ones, but I had some extra ones from before. And I just cut it out of crumb cake cardstock. You get 3 at a time. So that's kind of nice. And I just want it on the top one. I forgot to put this on. It's just a tiny little detail, but you can add that right to the top, and it just adds a little something. Okay, now I get to retie. Let's see if the second time around I can do it again. So just stick it, line them all 3 up at a time, and line them up, bring them to the front, do a little knot. I hate it when I forget a step, but you know what? There's a saying in German my mom used to always say. It goes, when you don't have something in your head, you have to have it in your legs. So basically it means like if you forget something, you're going to have to do more leg work. And it's so true. So when your brain forgets something, you're going to have to do a little bit more physical labor. And that's exactly what I had to do. All right. Unclamp, tighten that up a bit. Okay. All right, now we are ready. Now that I have my reinforcer on there, we are ready to kind of spread that out, and we're gonna put the pine cone on here, right here. And I'm going to use, shoot, you know what? I think I am out of, am I out of black? No, I am not black. Okay, so I put the black dimensionals on here on my supply list, and you'll find that on my blog post if you click over to there. And I put the black dimensionals on there because if you're buying dimensionals for the first time, you get both the regular size and the mini, and we need both of those for this project. So that's kind of nice. So what I'll do with the dimensionals is I'm going to put on 3, I think 3, and I'm putting them close to the center because I'm going to tuck those holly leaves underneath them. So just remove the backings. And I'll just put this right about here. Where's my original card? Right about here. I'm trying to make sure I kind of do what I did on the original card because I like the layout of that. And then we're going to add the holly leaves one at a time. So this one will be here. This one will be here. And then this one I'm going to put over here. Okay, so now once you've got the arrangement for your holly leaves, you can pull them out one at a time. And I'm just going to put glue on the tip because I don't want the whole thing to be glued down yet. So I'm just going to kind of tuck that in and then press it down. Okay, pull that one out now. Press it down. Stay. Do the same thing with the other little holly leaf. And just tuck it in. Press it down. See, this whole tag set is not quite pinned down yet. We'll do that in a second. I just wanted to show you how I went about arranging everything. Put some Tombow on the end there, and then I'll just stick that there and press that one down. And then we'll get the holly leaves, and this time I'm going to put them right here. So I'm going to do the 3 outer ones and not the middle one, because the middle one is actually going to sit on top of part of the pine cone, which is already raised. So I'm going to kind of do that. So I don't need dimensional on the middle one. Okay, so get rid of those backings, and then we'll see, that's what I needed the mini ones for, and then I'll just add those right on top of there like that. All right, that's it for the dimensionals. Okay, so I've got this kind of arranged how I want it. And so let's scoot this evergreen one over. So let's go first and attach this one here. So I'm just going to lift this up, put a little bit of Tombow underneath on the white. Okay, you don't need a lot because we're still going to attach this one in the back. And then you can press down so that you know that this is going to fit on the card. Press down. Okay, and then we can do the same, lift this up and put a little Tombow under here and then press down so that we know that this is going to stick to the white one. All right, so now we've got this piece all solid, and now I can flip this over and put Tombow on all of these pieces. And then bring it back over. I want it a little closer to the top. My white tag I want to have level, and then I'll just kind of center everything and then press it down. So that's how I go about sticking those tags all on there. And you know, this bow is, you can trim it a little bit if you want it not to stick all the way off the card, but it's okay if it's a little bit random. That's how it was on the original card too. If you remember, it wasn't 100% perfect bow. It's a rustic bow. You know, pine cones are very rustic, so you just kind of want to put it on there. And there is a cute little card, just using the tags. And you know, these tags are just so wonderful too for Christmas gifts, so keep them in mind for that. But you can also use them for cards. And so there are the 2 cards, and I hope you like them. Just love, I love green and red traditional Christmas cards, and those pine cones, they're so pretty. They're so fast, right? Just 2 stamps and then the die cut, and you're just ready to go. Just very, very easy. Makes me happy. All right. I'm coming back over to you guys. Hello, hello. very quickly, just so you know, and I probably already said it, please click on over to my blog if you need the supply list. If you spend $15 with me, you'll get one of my free with purchase tutorials. I usually email you usually within 24 hours. Usually it's a lot quicker than that. But if you don't get an email from me after you order, check your spam or contact me if you haven't heard from me. Maybe our emails are not connecting, so just know that I'm reaching out to you, but you might not be getting my email for some reason. Also, if you spend $50 with me this month, in November I'm going to send you a package of garden gems. I do not have the garden gems yet. They are a little bit delayed getting out of the port. They are our new product that demonstrators can pre-order this month, and they will be available to order next month. And so that's when I'm going to order them, and that will be the gift, the October gift, but it will be sent out in November. I always, you earn 1 month and then you get the gift the next month. So just as a little sign. All right, let's see. Oh, hello. I've got some team members on here this morning. So nice to see you guys. There's Amy, and Amy lives in Washington State. I've got team members all across the U.S., and Amy is all the way in Washington State, almost on opposite, ends of the, how far apart can we get, right? From West Coast to East Coast. And there's Dee from Missouri. Hello, good morning, Dee. They're happy for me because my son is coming. Thanksgiving dinner any day is a win. Lots of work, but so much goodness. Yes, and I am not good at cooking Thanksgiving dinner because we've always been like very small. So usually I buy Thanksgiving dinner. I will not lie, I do not enjoy cooking Thanksgiving dinner, but I have to cook it this time because no place is offering Canadian Thanksgiving takeout in the US. They just, for some reason, they just don't think it's a holiday. What? I don't know. I will figure it out though. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Janine. Janine's another team member of mine. D-Set has, could you use the soft succulent scrap as a wreath layer if you don't cut out the center leaves? Just budget crafting thought. Yeah, I guess you could. I never thought about making a wreath with that, but yeah, I'm sure you could. Yes, and I just kind of threw that scrap away really quickly because I knew I had extra leaves, and I was just trying to use all of that piece up. But you know what? I have a lot of leftover soft succulent pieces. I probably need to do something with those. Janine says, these machines, she means the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, are very sturdy. I knocked mine on the floor. How did you knock yours on the floor? That's a hard thing to do. Don't ask. Okay, I won't ask. But everything was fine except one of the caps popped off from the handle and went right back on. Well, that's good to hear. But please do not try that at home, okay? I like how they, those car commercials, and they're on this off-road track, and, they're doing leaps off of cliffs and stuff like that. And they're like, this is on a closed course. Please do not try this at home. And like, yeah, never going to try that, I rarely get even air off the potholes that I have to traverse to get to the main road. So yeah, not going to happen here. Hello, Janice. Oh, you're in Canada. Well, happy early Thanksgiving, which will be next Monday. I'll be doing one video on Friday before then. So, but hello. Hello, Bev. Bev's also on my team. So nice to see you this morning. Janine says they're called hole reinforcers. These little guys. Back in the day, if you're an older person, back in the day when you put notes on lined paper and you had a lot of binders, and back before they actually put the reinforcers on for you, now you can buy pages that have reinforcers. We bought these little reinforcers to put on our lined pages to protect them so they wouldn't come out of our binders from too much wear and tear. So that was back in the day. Good morning, Sally. Hello. Okay. Betty says, "Love how we arrange how I arrange the tags. That's great. Thank you so much." Um, Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like my card today. And I hope you'll join in over on our Facebook group. And don't forget the link for that is down below. And Lori, if you're new to the group, Lori is going to approve you and get you set up on the group. And then you can have a look at our cards and postcards, and all will be good. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. Join me on Friday on YouTube, where I will be demonstrating either a 3D item or a fancy fold. It's going to be great. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my YouTube channel. I hope you have a great week until then. Bye-bye, everyone.